Here's how the if statement works. We call them if functions because we're using them in Excel. Generally, we call them if statements. But an if statement is basically a condition that if it's true, something will happen, and if it's not true, something else will happen. So in everyday life, if it's raining, my hair is going to get wet. If it's not raining, my hair should stay dry. If I go over 110 kilometers an hour on the highway, there's a good chance I'm going to get a ticket, so we'll just say, yes, I'm speeding. If I'm not going over 110 kilometers an hour, no, I'm not speeding. It's as simple as that. And so the formula that you're going to use is relatively simple. At first, anyways. Then we can work with if statements that are much more complex. If we buy over a certain amount of goods, we'll save 20%. If not, we won't save 20%. Anyways, I think my little example should make sense. So in this case, the if function has three parts. One is the condition. So in this case, what is the condition? If what? And then the second part is, if it's true, if the condition is met, then something will happen. If that condition is not met, then something else will happen. So in this case, we're going to take a simple example like if the average temperature for the day in the month of February is below -2, then we'll say yes, wear winter clothes. If it's not below -2, we'll say, you don't need to wear your winter clothes. No. So, and that's going to be our example. And the formula is going to look like this. In this case here, if B3, so, oh, I forgot, I got rid of the average temperatures here. Hang on, gotta bring them back. There we go. All right. Yeah, part of the video, what the heck. So in this case, if we're going to type in the formula here, if whatever we have in this cell is below -2, then yes. And so as we copy the formula down, it's going to keep looking into these cells to see if that condition is met. And if it's not below -2, then it should say no. So this is what the formula is going to look like. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it nice and clear. I think you're going to find this relatively easy, at least at first. And then I'm going to throw you some curve balls. So we're going to say if parentheses, if B3, I could have typed it in, but B3 is below, less than, -2, comma. So that's our first part. The comma separates the parts. If it's words that we want to have typed in, because sometimes we could have formulas used in here, we could have a number show up, but if it's words that we want typed, we're going to put it in quotation marks. True? And if that condition is not met, then the alternative is no. What do we need to finish the formula with? Let's take a look at it. Notice that there's only one parenthesis. We need to close it off. Enter. All right, let's zoom out a little bit so you can see it being copied down. So let's see if it actually works. Perfect. Now, something kind of ridiculous, but just so you get it. We could say, what if the condition is below or equal to -2? Whatever you type in here, we could say bananas. Doesn't make any sense, right? But that's okay. And in this case, we could say, so this is not making any sense at all, but in this case, we could say B3 times 48. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense at all, but it's going to say bananas if it's below or equal to -2, or it's going to create a formula which takes this number times 48. Notice that there are no quotation marks. Let's see if it works. I'll just copy it down a little bit just so you can see. Sure enough, minus 1 times 48 equals minus 48. 1 times 48. So you get the idea, 2 times 48. So it's a formula here that doesn't make any sense, but it's showing you how the conditions are used. Again, if you type something in, put it in quotation marks. It can also be a calculation. It could be a number, simple number. And it's as simple as that. So in the first assignment that you're going to do, it's going to be a relatively simple if statement assignment so that you can show and learn how you're going to apply the if statement. And then we're going to move progressively into more complicated areas. Not so complicated that you're not going to be able to get it, but you'll see why the if statement is used in Excel quite a bit. It's a very popular function.